Yeah, so this depth chart right here is not the accurate depth chart. I just pulled this up just to kind of get like a little screen for the audience. But so DJ Chester, I'm guessing he's moving to left guard. I'm guessing.
Yes, he's been starting left guard with the first team so far, and he looks okay, man. Like, I mean, they're not in pads yet,
Yeah.
so we don't know exactly. But I think he's going to be at least starting there week 1.
So Braylon Moore moves to center. Josh Thompson's going to be right guard. We looking at.
Sorry about that. I had to get a charger. Yes, Josh Thompson will be your starting right guard. I mean, there's no way that he will not be in this lineup, whether that's right guard or right tackle. He has over 1,400 career snaps, and he's only allowed 2 sacks in his career. He has not allowed a sack in his last 2 seasons.
And then at tackles, man, that's incredible. 2 sacks and over 2,000 snaps.
Almost 1,500.
Yeah, well, 1,500. That's incredible. Looking at the tackles, right tackle, I think Weston Davis is penciled in at the moment. Left tackle, Tyree Adams is penciled in at the moment. I do point to Carriers Kern. There is going to be a moment in the season where he's going to jump and take a starting position. I don't know if it's going to be week 1, week 5. This dude is just way too talented to ride the bench, and he's going to push somebody. I just don't know who it's going to be.
Who do you think? Because
it could be anybody but the center. I would say. I think he's that good. He could play guard. He could play tackle. I think we're looking at him at tackle at the moment.
Yes, he had some good moments, but he also had some bad moments at left tackle in fall camp practices, just barely. He was absolutely manhandled by Bernard Gooden.
Dude, Gooden's a wild card, man. But he has he has some up and downs so far. I mean, he's a freshman, but
he's a freshman, and he's so good. Like you said, he's so physically good, man, and he can take a spot from one of these guys. But is it going to be Tyree Adams, Weston Davis? I know Kelly loves Weston Davis as his right tackle, and he's been comfortable with Weston Davis starting there for a while. So I'm just saying that from a perspective of hearing this for a long time, that Kelly likes Weston Davis as his starting right tackle, but doesn't mean it's locked down. Tyree Adams, though, left tackle. I haven't really seen him do anything wrong, but I haven't seen like true greatness yet from him. And it's maybe the offensive line won't matter that much this year if we just have a quick striking offense.
I was going to point that out. I think of 2019 getting the ball out quick to your playmakers in space, where your line just has to be serviceable.
Yes,
and then I'm seeing reports of Nussmeier. I think he fixed his body over the off season. I think he's going to be a lot more mobile, a lot more quick. So if he could get some escapability, this is going to be like really, really hard to stop. This is going to be a top 5 bona fide offense. I'm looking at the tight end position. LSU's going to run a lot of 11P, a lot of 12 personnel this year, with Trey'Dez Green, Bauer Sharp. I think Bauer Sharp gets the edge because he can block better, but Trey'Dez Green is just the mismatch animal out there, alien. So, it's going to be fun to see how they use those 2 cats.
Man, if they don't find, like, if we're struggling in the red zone, okay, a few games into the season, and we lose against Clemson, we lose against Florida because of it,
mm-hmm.
and we haven't attempted a single red zone target to Trey'Dez Green, someone needs to be fired, because the dude is automatic and he's unstoppable in the red zone.
I think he could explode for 15 touchdowns. Trey'Dez Green. I can't think of a single person in the country that's going to be able to cover him.
And I don't even care if he scores 30 touchdowns this season, and they're all from like 5-yard, 4-yard catches. I don't care. Just score it, because he has 4 career red zone targets, 4 catches inside the red zone from those 4 targets, all went for 4 touchdowns. The dude is he has proven to be unstoppable. And I'm telling you, if we had thrown him off the bench into that game against USC just to get us 1 red zone touchdown, which would have been the difference, would have made it a winnable game for us, he would have produced the play. because
Yeah,
Nussmeier would have made it somewhat at least catchable at his worst. Nussmeier, right?
yeah,
Well, then he's catching the football. Like, and if we do not understand the type of weapon we have with Trey'Dez Green, and then you can run Bauer Sharp underneath the other way off of him, you can have all of these mismatches everywhere, working speed against height advantage, working all these mismatches left, right, and center, over the middle, downfield, play action even. You are looking at an offense that it should be a juggernaut. Like if this offense is a disappointing offense, brother, I
yeah.
think I think someone should be fired, because this is an offense that should be literally top 5, and there is no excuse. Like, even with an offensive line you're unsure of, run misdirection runs, get some guys pulling, get some guys, get your offensive line moving post snap. Don't just have them there thinking they can win 1v1 blocks that they're never going to win. At least give them a chance. Have them pulling, have them hitting guys on the move. And Caden Durham, that's the perfect running game for him, man. The misdirection, the counter runs, stuff like that. Like, I just don't see how this can fail. And really, I'll be throwing my remote through the TV, or I'll be jumping from the press box, like at Tiger Stadium, like, no, why? Like, if this is a failure, bro.
I completely agree, man. I know the run game won't be a problem this year. I'm getting really high vibes on this, and especially the interior old line. They're going to be moving some people. Caden Durham
Yes.
broke out as a freshman. Really
Oh,
explosive,
yeah.
really explosive player. Twitch. I everyone who keeps up with me knows that I've been preaching Caden Durham. But here's an interesting
Love.
Caleb Jackson. He needs to step up. We need someone from that RB2. I don't know who it's going to be. Harlem Bailey's the freshman. I don't know how much he's going to go in between the tackles. He still needs to put some bulk on him. I think he's going to be a force in the pass game. Caleb Jackson needs to be able to tote the rock a good 7-10 times a game, get you a good 4 or 5 yards of carry, change the pace back. Just we I think of the Josh Williams last season. I think if Caleb Jackson could just be serviceable or in that type of production, that's all we're looking for from that RB2 role.
Dude, you are like absolutely reading my mind today, because we just went off on a tangent in our last show about how, like, this is the opportunity for Caleb Jackson. There's no Trey Holly behind him to like steal reps from him, steal yards from him. He has a true opportunity to maybe even be, maybe not 1,000-yard back, but be close and do the kind of a two-headed monster with Caden Durham. He has that opportunity here. He has a second bite at the apple at LSU after last year, where that was not all on Caleb. They stupidly had him add all this weight. He added all that weight. It slowed him down, and then they just ran him straight up the middle with a poor offensive line that could not run block to save their lives. So everything was against Caleb Jackson for success last year.
I would
So
like, yeah, I would like to know what's his yards after first contact, because you're right. He was getting hit at the line a lot. Um, you know, we have some big holes. He's the power back on the team. He's going to be the one that
yeah, man.
if you need a yard, give the ball to Caleb Jackson.
Dude, he has to be that man now. Like he cannot throw that opportunity away. Like this I mean, Caden Durham is going to be something special, and he might be special for a few years to come here at LSU. But here's the thing. This is a year where Caleb Jackson could actually steal the year from Caden Durham, just like Caden Durham did to Caleb Jackson last year,
That's
where
interesting.
everyone's expecting it to be Caden Durham's year. And maybe he gets hurt week 3, week 4, and Caleb comes in and is that 1,000-yard back. This is a moment where, man, if he throws it away, if he only 200, 300 yards, doesn't really have an impact in these games, I think it'll be something that will haunt him for the rest of his life. This is an opportunity for Caleb Jackson to make his mark at LSU.
And he showed glimpses of it. I think of whenever he ran over that cat at Mississippi State by the sideline. Like, this dude is straight power, physical, traditional, old school, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
tackles north and south, just tote the rock. But yeah, so my expectations, I think the run game takes off this season. And I'm also, I don't know how you feel about this. I got Nuss as my preseason Heisman pick.
Ooh.
I think Nuss goes over like, man, he's gonna go over 40 touchdowns this season.
You know what? If
He's
Jaden
gonna
Daniels threw 40 touchdowns while running the ball over 1,000 yards and running it for over 10 touchdowns, then bro, there is no earthly reason that Garrett Nussmeier shouldn't throw 40 to 50 himself.
no reason.
Especially with having the targets that he's got. The only way that would happen is if we just run the football a lot in the red zone because we find a way that, like, hey, they can't stop us running the football in the red zone. We're not screwing around. We're running it in. Like, Kelly will do that.
I'm
Kelly,
I'm cool with that too, though.
yeah, dude, I don't care. Like, just put the football in the end zone. And the
Yeah,
problem is that there's times that we should have been throwing to Trey'Dez Green, obvious mismatches, obvious easy throws for Nuss to make, and we knew we couldn't get that half yard. We knew we couldn't get that yard, and we would still just do it anyway. Like, thank God that now we have options, and we're gonna see what's what. Like you said, this is gonna expose everything this season because no one can hide. If there's a deficiency in the run game, we know Alex Atkins couldn't fix what was already screwed up there, and we kind of know how to move on there. If I don't see the receivers or the receiving game being the reason LSU loses or doesn't win a championship this year. That's kind of that's not really where I'm looking at, but I'm definitely looking at offensive line running the football, but I'm also looking at defense and stopping the run. The defense, in coverage, the defense as a whole, but really just the complete makeup of the team, special teams as well. Kelly's never really had a complete team at LSU. There's always been, 2022 was the worst special teams unit we've ever seen at LSU. And then 2023, we have the worst defensive unit we've ever seen in history at LSU. 2024, one of the most dysfunctional and wasteful offenses I've ever seen at LSU, at least in recent memory. Not one of the worst offenses, but one of the most just missed opportunities were ridiculous. So 2025, what are we going to see? Are we going to see a complete team for once? I don't know, man. There's so much potential here.
man. Let's jump into the defense a little bit right here next. So, man, Manny Diaz, he's a coach that I kind of keep up with a little bit. He second year at Duke. He has an excellent quote that he did at ACC Media Days, and you only as good as your two deep.
Yes.
In the Kelly era, this is the best two deep we ever had on the roster. And so, man, Jack Pyburn, we already mentioned him. He's a meathead from Florida, one of the best run stoppers in the country. He came to LSU to get more developed in this pass rush, and they're going to unleash him this season. Dom McKinley, his brother actually committed to LSU today.
Yes.
Darius McKinley, that was some news. But so Don McKinley, how about the quote of Kelly saying that he's squatting 650 pounds? We ran out of weights. That was huge jump. I wasn't expecting to hear all that news. And if Don McKinley takes that next step, this D line is going to be there for us,
Dude. If Dominic McKinley takes a superstar step, this defense goes into an intergalactic realm where we are literally capable of eating people's faces. You have Jack Pyburn, Whit Weeks, who are literally ready to run through like people's souls. You got Gabe Relaford, who could be a 10-plus sack defensive edge. Bernard Gooden, who could get 5-6 sacks from the interior. West Weeks, who's ready to really – this is his last dance. He's got to have a hell of a year. So he's going to be bringing it. There's Ashton Stamps, led the SEC in pass breakups last year. Totally under – that kid doesn't get enough love like you should. And he's going to be at his optimum if he can hold off DJ Pickett with how good Pickett is. So you've got iron sharpening iron. You've got great talents all over the place on this defense, man. But it's, it's how you use your depth. It's how you rotate. There's so many things that go into this that'll make everything work. Say what's up, everybody. To everybody, Sage.
Hey, what's up?
See
Man,
what's up.
You want to see a picture with some aura, bro?
Ooh.
Harold Perkins is freaking back, dog.
And he's looking good. No knee brace. He's looking great, man.
No knee brace. Looking, it seems like he slimmed a little bit, but I think he's going to get back to that, that speed that he had freshman season. The whole debate, we had over the last few years is like how we're going to use Perk, how he's going to be used in the defense. Is he going to be an edge rusher? Is he going to be a linebacker in the middle and stuff like that? But this star position, man, what you know about this star position in Blake Baker's defense?
Well, I mean, it's really, he wants it to be an extra guy in the box. He wants it to be a guy who's going to be able to stop the run mostly, be that extra kind of auxiliary linebacker, but have the flexibility to be defensive edge within a few yards, a half of a second of a move, and then be able to maybe jump back and get a hand up on the football a few yards back, and a half a second as well. Harold Perkins is the perfect guy to do that. And really, what also I think I needed to bring this in too. You don't just want to bring up Harold Perkins and what he can do this year. I think you got to pay attention to a guy like Tamarcus Cooley. This is why Cooley, I think, is going to start at safety. Because with a guy like Harold Perkins at star, in kind of that free roll off the ball, kind of in that nether world between corner and defensive end, they're just going to motion. Every smart quarterback in the world is, oh my God, Harold Perkins, he's going to come off that edge like a breathing dragon, and he's going to eat my face. So I'm going to motion someone over there so Harold Perkins is stuck in coverage, right? Well, guess what? Tamarcus Cooley can drop down from safety because he's a former nickel and he can do this. He has a very special, specific set of skills, to quote Liam Neeson from Taken. And he can come down and be that dude who will cover that dude in the nickel. And then you can still have Harold Perkins in that free roll. So I think like the way that it's going to be used is mostly to keep Harold in the box, mostly to keep Harold attacking the backfield, mostly to keep Harold in the mind of the quarterback at all times, whether they're going to use him in coverage on the play or they're going to attack the quarterback or whatever they're going to do. You want the quarterback nonstop thinking about number 7. And it's not just even about number 7. It's about all the guys around him that you can use. You can use Harold as a decoy and then, blitz with weeks even. I mean, and you're going to get some very good results as well. So, man, I just see absolute greatness in Harold Perkins, but you've got to make it count. You've got to get the best out of him finally this year. Everything has to come together. And to make that happen, he's got to have a great supporting cast. You've got to have a great defensive coordinator. You've got to be of the same mindset, everyone pulling in the same direction. You've got all of those things. Harold Perkins loves Blake Baker. Harold Perkins was basically recruited to LSU by Blake Baker. Before Baker left, obviously. You've got a strong defensive coordinator in Baker. You've got these pieces around him with speed, the beef in the defensive line now, the depth around there. You've got some strong cover guys even. Like, that's another thing that just really should work on the face of it, on paper, that like this is a potential championship defense, man. Like,